Welcome to Beyond This Point, a ministry for women. I'm Joyce, your host. As some of you know already, but for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm a minister's wife. I've worn that label for over 37 years. I'm a business owner, having served in the court reporting industry for 30 years. I'm a mother of 2 wonderful daughters and a grandmother of 5 of the grandest grandchildren ever born. Just a wee bit proud, I suppose, in case you missed that. I'm also a speaker and author of these 2 books, Keeping His Pants On Until He Gets Home and Turning Her On and Keeping Her Heart. These are bookends designed for every marriage. They're full of godly principles designed for all marriages in any stage, the good, the bad, or the ugly. Today, I'm delighted to have my youngest daughter join me on my show. It thrills Webby and me for our daughters because they fashioned their homes in a loving manner and carrying on some of the steep traditions that we've had and creating those of their own as well. Now, Tanja Marcy wrote one of the chapters in Turning Her On and Keeping Her Heart. It's the chapter of Dinner for Two that you can do. God's word is clear that He intended sex to be reserved for the marital covenant. Marcy spoke at our Day of Beauty designed for young girls, and she speaks at purity balls as well. And I asked her to bring this message to you. Invite your teens in for this message. It's one you'll want them to hear.
Hi, I'm Marcy LaHue, and it pleases me to be able to talk to you today. I was recently asked to speak at a purity ball, and they gave me their theme, which was, "You are a treasure." As I thought about the concept of treasure, and God making a treasure when He created each of us, I began thinking about the attributes of treasure. I immediately thought of pirates because I am the mother of a 2-year-old son who loves playing pirates. And we will make maps and go on treasure hunts all over the house, usually searching for a cookie. But that's treasure to a 2-year-old. But when I was thinking about treasure, a map just seemed to go right along with it. Maps are essential when you go on a treasure hunt. Before I graduated from college, I decided to study abroad. I'd always been fascinated with Europe. European history was the focus of my studies as a history major, and of course, as an art major, I was very familiar with and passionate about the art that was created in Europe for centuries. I wanted to study in Florence, Italy, the birthplace of the Renaissance. And my school wasn't offering a program that went there, so I figured out a way to go on my own, and that's where I completed my art degree. I was there for 6 months, and of course, by the end of the first month, it was my home, and I was completely comfortable with living in a foreign country and traveling to surrounding countries, sometimes with a friend, sometimes by myself. But the very first day I got to Florence, I moved into my little apartment and was ready to go exploring. I had made my plans to go see the Duomo, the famous cathedral in the heart of Florence that is the city's icon. Maybe hit a few museums, eat a little pasta, drink a cappuccino, what anyone would do their first day in Italy. I got up early, got ready, packed my backpack, and you need to understand this about me. I am always prepared. I am usually overly prepared. I had everything you can imagine in this bag: water, food, extra socks, money, a hat, sunglasses, flip-flops, an extra shirt, tissues, gum, hairbrush, makeup, my Italian translation book, camera, my sketchbook, my art supplies. I'm telling you, the bag weighed 50 pounds. I was prepared. Well, almost. I got about 5 blocks from my apartment and realized I'd forgotten my map of Florence, which leads me to the other thing you need to know about me. I am incredibly independent and incredibly stubborn. Instead of turning around and walking 5 blocks back to get my map, I thought, I can do this without a map? How big is Florence anyway? Surely I can get to the Duomo and back without a map. I thought, I'm a big girl. I came here on my own. I can find this building, no problemo. I was off, bebopping along, full of energy, smiling at every Italian that passed, saying, "Ciao, ciao," as they looked at me, probably thinking, "You silly American girl." I was turning down streets that looked interesting and especially old, finding out later that all the streets in Italy looked like that. But I didn't know that yet. I was all caught up in the history of where I was, thinking, I'm walking down a street Michelangelo walked down, or maybe even Da Vinci. Oh, I was on cloud 9. I would stop and take pictures of random streets and sketch some door that, again, looked really old. By the time I snapped out of my Italy-induced coma, I realized I had absolutely no idea where I was. I kept turning corners and taking streets until suddenly I was out of the ancient world of Florence and staring at a Blockbuster video store and a Dunkin' Donuts. The Duomo was absolutely nowhere in sight, which was disconcerting to me because if you're within 2 miles of it, you can see it. Oh, I was lost. I tried stopping a few Italians to ask them where I should go, and one of them just began laughing at me and kept walking. He certainly was thinking, "You silly American girl." And the other tried his best to give me directions, but couldn't speak a lick of English, and my 2 semesters of Italian rendered me useless to actually carry on a conversation with an Italian. So I stood there, nodding, and said the one of 5 words that I actually knew how to say, "Grazie," and walked in the general direction of where he had pointed. I found a bench, exhausted, and suddenly it hit me. I'm in a foreign country where no one knows I exist on this entire continent. I left my map like an idiot, don't know where I am in this city, and I am lost. I found the nearest payphone, called my parents who could do absolutely nothing to help me. They were on a different continent, except listen to me cry and try to calm me down. I hung up the phone with them and finally came to my senses. "Get in a cab, Mars, write down your address, give it to the cabbie." I was defeated. I left my map. I didn't find what I was looking for. I gave up my independence to an Italian cabbie and was out 45 lira, which is the equivalent of about $10, just trying to get back home. In my excitement to go on an adventure, I left the one item that would let me find my treasure, the Duomo, my pasta, and my cappuccino, and the one item that would lead me home, my map. Treasure is something you search for, you hunt, you discover. You get a map and you go on an adventure to find your treasure. What if you believe that you were a treasure to discover, something precious, unique, priceless, something of worth, something you love? Treasure is something we cherish. We marvel at its beauty and the value that it possesses. It is irreplaceable and something that must be protected. Treasure is something to protect and guard. It is something others might envy, others might want to steal. If we choose to share our treasure with another, it must be something that is earned or rewarded, and the person we entrust it with must promise to keep it and see it as a treasure themselves, so they will place the same value in it that we did. We are all treasures in God's eyes, but sometimes we are difficult to convince of that. He created us. He understands our value, what we mean to His kingdom. He put within each of us spiritual gifts that we are meant to discover and use to grow and enhance His work here on earth. He created all of us uniquely, made each person special. He wants us to take pride in His creation and respect it. Discovering that you are a treasure requires work. You've never seen a treasure map that only has an X marking the spot. Where you found the map is where the treasure is. No, there's always a path leading to the X. There's a journey, and with that, usually an adventure. Self-discovery is never a short, easy trip. It's a long journey that will not end until you die and usually holds many adventures along the way. This journey is not simply about self-discovery, though. It is about discovering that you are a treasure, that you have more to offer this world than what it can offer you. If you allow yourself to focus on the fact that God gave you gifts and talents and has a plan for your life, your journey will be an exciting adventure. When you begin to discover all the wonderful things about yourself, the way God made you, you will begin to have a love for yourself, which is vital to a content life. You must love yourself, not in a selfish, conceited way, but a glowing confidence that says you are happy with who you are and how God made you, and that you do believe you are special. I know that sounds so preschool sometimes, but you have to believe that about yourself. You should do something in the next few days. Sit down and make a list of all the things that you like about yourself. Don't only focus on the physical, though you should include it, but try to really think about the person you are. I'm a good friend. I go out of my way to help others. I'm trustworthy. I'm funny. I'm smart. I'm independent. I'm a good basketball player. I'm a fast runner. I'm honest. I'm caring. I am sympathetic to those who are less fortunate than me. And don't shortchange yourself either. Any little thing that you take some pride in, like I would say, I look good in pink and I wear it a lot, though I'm not in it today, and I like how I laugh. Write down anything that you take pride in. Put this somewhere safe and open it every so often. Add to it and see how far you've come on your journey. It's like your very own treasure map that you will have forever. And if you want a longer list, pray for God to bless you with other qualities that will enrich your life and enhance His plans for you. And when you're feeling down about yourself, it's a great way to give you a quick pick-me-up, to remind yourself why you are special. When you discover those things that make you special, a treasure, you will start to feel something inside. And what you are feeling is love. Love for who you are. A lot of people cannot say with 100% certainty that they love themselves. They might love the way they look or a talent that they've been blessed with, but they don't love who they are. When you see yourself as a treasure, you can't help but love who you are, and you will cherish the person God made. When you cherish something, you will do anything to guard it and to protect it. Now, you might be wondering what any of this has to do with purity. Well, you have to understand that in discovering who you are and learning to love who you are, you will be guarded from engaging in behavior that will cause you to lose yourself, your self-respect, your self-worth, and your self-love. You will have worked too hard to begin your journey and come too far in discovering this treasure to let foolish mistakes move you backwards. You must protect yourself from self-destruction. God created sex to be shared between a husband and a wife. It is reserved for the most sacred covenant that you can share with anyone on this earth. He didn't make sex exclusive in order to punish us or to keep us from having fun. His commandments are established for our protection. He is trying to save us from the heartache that premarital sex brings. Every time you have sex with someone, you give them your treasure. They get a piece of who you are. Whether they love you or not, you have given them some of yourself. And when they're done with the treasure, it might be stained, chipped, or tarnished. It just won't be the same. It won't be as pure as when they found it. They just might not place the same value in the treasure as you did. But when you save yourself, you reserve that privilege for the person who pledges themselves to love you, no matter what, sickness, health, for rich or poor, good times or bad, someone who will not so easily cast you aside when they've gotten what they want from you, someone who also sees you as a treasure and will want to earn and win that treasure and keep it until you die. You should think so much of yourself that whomever you are dating is a person you would consider marrying one day. Even in high school, don't be with someone who doesn't respect who you are and does not see your worth. Dating is a process that leads you to eventually figure out who you want to marry. Most people go through a lot of dating before they discover that person they will spend the rest of their lives with. You kind of get a clue about what you want and don't want in a spouse from experiences dating. However, you should have a set of standards that you do not compromise when you are dating. You need to decide now what kind of person you are seeking in a spouse and not make exceptions to those qualities when you date. First and foremost, you should never compromise that the person has to be a Christian. If you begin there, you will have a wonderful foundation for a relationship. The person you choose to be with should respect you and your decision to remain pure, and if they love you, they will see you as a treasure to earn, win, and keep.
Thank you, Marcy, for your words of wisdom. Tune in next week, and Marcy will bring part 2 of Hidden Treasure. Don't miss it, and be sure and bring your teens. Thank you for joining Beyond This Point.